Hi, how are you doing today? So we are going to continue on to the next part of this video series concerning the middle pillar path. And let's review a little bit of what we've done so far. So in the first video, we've established that you're seeking this connection. There's something more, you know it, you're pulled to it, and you're looking. And we've also established the connection, or a good resemblance of when you make that connection, what it might be or feel like. And that concept basically revolves around the idea of beauty. We offered a couple of exercises for that. And then from there, we moved into Hermetic alchemy, which is a very important to follow after you've established this connection. Because once you establish the connection and you see all this beauty, you're going to be thrown into some self-reflection. And you're going to want to work on yourself to get closer to this beauty, this divine source. And how you can do that is through the practice of Hermetic alchemy. And I offered an exercise at the end of that video as well. So, moving forward today, the next step would be to learn about the Tree of Life, the Kabbalic Tree of Life. Now, in the description below, I have put two links. One to a blank version of the diagram that we're going to go over, and then two, a filled in version of the diagram. This is my own personal diagram, and it is identical to what we'll be reviewing today. So I learned it fairly quickly by printing a blank sheet and filling everything in. I mean, I even colored. So, and you'll see what I mean by that. But so if you want to go ahead and maybe pause the video, click on those links, or stop the video, and then when you get a chance to print both of those, and then we'll pick back up. And if you are ready and you already have them printed, then we will continue. All right, I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so you have your diagram here. Now, first thing I want you to notice is that there are 10 spears in this diagram. And this is going to be kind of a long video because there's a lot of information surrounding every spear. So, all 10 spears are connected by some kind of line. And what these lines are referred to are as paths. So you have all these different paths on the Tree of Life. So now we'll begin by starting with spear number 10, which is the very bottom spear. Now you'll notice that this bottom spear is cut into 4 different pieces. There are 4 different colors to it. Now, this spear represents the physical realm, kind of where we all start. It represents reality, Earth. And the name of this 10th spear is Malkuth. And it is a direct reflection of the kingdom. It represents the earthly realm, physical realm, maintaining your temple and environment. Now, if you'll notice, each of the 4 sections in this 10th spear are shaded a different color. And those colors correspond with the spears above. So starting with the green portion, we have what represents the emotional body. And then with the orange portion, we have what represents the mental body. And then with the purple portion, we have a piece of what represents the astral matrix, or what lies beyond the physical. And then the bottom portion is shaded in black, which represents this understanding, right? Now, moving on from Spear 10, we're going to go straight up to that middle spear directly above, and that is spear number 9. And spear number 9 is a representation of the moon, and that spear's name is Yosed, which is translated to foundation. Now this spear represents the foundation behind the physical realm, the astral matrix behind the earth, the astral body, and the energy body. Now moving on from spear 9, we have spear 8, which is colored orange, and this spear represents the planet Mercury. This spear's name is Hod, which is translated to splendor. This spear represents the mind and mental body, your thought and communication, not just with other people, but with yourself. You know, how much control do you have over your mind? How are your thoughts? What are they? Do they lean towards self-desire? You know? So the spear basically just represents your mind. Where's your mind at? You know, and acknowledging where your mind's at and deciding, is that where I want my mind to be? And if not, then how do I work to shift my mental body? Now moving on from spear 8, we go to spear 7, which represents the planet Venus, and it's shaded green. Now the name of the 7th spear is Netzach, which is translated to victory. It represents the emotional body, your passion, fire, and love, your emotional desire, your attractions, what it is that you want emotionally. Now this spear represents your emotional body. Now if we refer back to the diagram, we have 8 and 7 straight across from each other, right? And if you look at the line here where they're connected, and the small triangle that it forms with spear 9, we like to refer to that as the ego realm. So the idea of this tree of life is to climb up it, and not just up it, but back down it as well, and then back up and back down. It's closely related to, or could be correlated with, the sense of Jacob's ladder, if you ever want to, research that and get into seeing what that's about. So the idea here is that starting with spear 10, we have this awakening of, not so much an awakening of, but a desire to know what lies beyond the material and physical. And then when we get to that point, we start to realize that in order to learn anything at all about it, that we have to be able to control, change, and identify the problems with our mental body and our emotional body, which combined make up the ego. So this triangle here that connects spear 8, 9, and 7 is representative of the ego realm. So by doing the work, what you're going to do is you're going to pass through this ego realm, right? Now let's move on to spear 6. Spear 6 is shaded yellow, and it's a representation of the sun. Spear 6's name is Tyropheth, and it's translated to beauty. This represents like Christ consciousness, the master within, the higher self, the heart of the tree of life, divine connection, and beauty. So this Christ consciousness is the ability to see beauty in all things and acknowledge the connection in all things. Now, just like how we took spear 8, 7, and 9, and that formed a triangle representing the ego realm, we're going to take that same idea, but now we're just going to flip it upwards towards spear 8, 7, and 6. And what they call this triangle is the awakening, the initiation. You know, when you have balanced your mental body and your emotional body with this sense of something that lies beyond the material, and you're seeking and you find this immense beauty and connection in everything. Now, moving on from spear 6, we go to spear 5. Spear 5 is shaded red, and it's representative of the planet Mars. And forgive me if I pronounce this wrong, but number 5's name is Jadora, and it's translated to strength. Now, this is, of course, since it's Mars, you know, the planet of war, or in like mythology, the god of war. This planet represents severity, the soul's will, the strength to overcome the ego and to adhere to divine will. This is where the soul and the ego are at odds. Change your judgment towards the divine. So here in this place, because it is the planet of war, the ego and this Christ consciousness are going to go into battle with one another. Because a lot of what we've been taught and evolved to be and believe in life is mostly sitting on the foundation of ego. So when you start to have this awakening, you're going to go through a lot of internal confusion. Because part of you is going to be saying, go this way. But your small self, your ego inside is going to be like, hey, that's not that's not how we were taught. That's not going to make me the star in this moment, or it's not going to, you know, fill me up for the sense of self. So there's going to be this war that happens there in the 5th spear. Now, moving on to the 4th spear, its shade is blue, and it's represented by the planet Jupiter. And the name of this spear is Chesed, and this spear is translated to mercy. What it represents is learning true compassion for yourself as well as others. Learning to balance all of your mercy as to be not taken advantage of, but to still maintain compassion. It represents stability in compassion and love expansion. So what this is it's a balance. It's the balance in between spear 5 and spear 6. So it's not letting the ego control your life, but it's also being able to maintain this Christ consciousness so that way you can still function in a material world. And that's where you learn this sense of mercy and compassion instead of maybe trying to battle things or prove you're right, or behaviors and actions that derive from the ego wanting to get what it wants. So from there, well, first, now just like how we did with the spears below, spear 6, 5, and 4 once again create a triangle. And what we just reviewed concerning those 3 spears is considered, this triangle is considered the ethical realm. So this is where you have this awakening to Christ consciousness, and now you have to rewrite your own ethics. You know, your ideas of what's good, what's bad, what's helpful, what's not. This is where you are going to really start to adhere to your sense of divine will. And in doing so, you're going to start building a sense of intuition. Because once you make this connection with the divine source and you start to see this beauty, you're going to start to build this trust. This, it's kind of hard to describe, but for me, it's been a feeling of safety and trust. And it's given me the ability to be vulnerable. And out of that vulnerability, I've created, or I feel this sense that everything is going to be okay. And that has helped me build my intuition towards positivity and less stress and less worry in life. So from spear 4, we move into what is spear 3, ruled by the planet Saturn. And spear 3's name is Binah, and it translates to understanding. So spear 3 is the dark goddess of the womb of creation. It's intuition. It's the energy of the divine feminine. It's yin energy of the yin and yang. It's receptive energy. It's listening to your intuition, you know, trusting that guidance. This spear gives formation to the seed of light energy. So in trusting your intuition, you know, you go into this mode of creation or formation that comes from it. And it's understanding that, well, we'll get to this part in one second. But yeah, it's a spear basically of creation, which comes from listening to your intuition and following this divine will and working on your strength and your Christ consciousness, or divine consciousness, we could say. So, moving on from spear 3, we have spear 2. And spear 2 is colored gray, and it's ruled by the planet Uranus. Spear 2's name is Chokmah, which translates to wisdom. It is the light god of pure energy. It represents the divine masculine. It's the yang energy to the yin and yang. It gives energy to the formless seed of light and energy. So what we have here are these 2 different notions, right? So we have the spear of the dark goddess and the light of the light god. We have the spear of understanding and the spear of wisdom. Now these 2 work hand in hand. So spear 3, the dark goddess, takes this light energy and then she creates out of her womb, you know, creates material. So now we're moving on to spear 1. Spear 1 is a white sphere that is ruled by the planet Pluto. Its name is Kether, and it's translated to the crown. So this is the crown of the Tree of Life. It represents infinity, the I am that I am, the true unity and consciousness behind reality, the infinite divine source. So now, just like the triangles and the realms that we have noted below, this top triangle here represents the cosmic realm. And as you pass from the ethical realm to choosing your divine will, gaining this intuition, when you pass into the cosmic realm, you're going into the abyss on this journey of growth. This is where your understanding and wisdom turn into knowledge. And as wonderful as that sounds, it can be a scary place too. Because you're going to be going through a lot of ideas and concepts and epiphanies and things that you just never realized before that have always been there. And I mean, it's going to have an impact on you. So my advice is, when you pass into the cosmic realm, don't forget about how you got there. Don't forget about how you got there. That's going to save you some heartaches, because once you get into the cosmic realm, anything's possible. Anything's possible. And some of those possibilities could hurt your your sense of the material world. You know, what goes up must come down, right? So that is the explanation of the Tree of Life. And you know, I hope you enjoyed it. I know I certainly enjoyed going back through it. If you want to, like I said, I want to challenge you to print off those sheets and fill them out, color them in, you know. Take your time to learn it. I enjoyed it when I did, and I got a lot out of it. So in the next video, we are going to actually start on the actual pillars. We had a lot to go through before we got to them, because there's a lot that goes into it. And, you know, I don't know everything. I'm just like everyone else. I'm just kind of on this journey, and I enjoy it a lot. And just wanted to offer some assistance to anyone else out there who's seeking and looking. So, in the next video, we start the 3 pillars. And, you know, I really enjoy you coming by. This doing this makes me happy. And, I hope you enjoy it too. So, I will see you in the next video. And, thanks for taking the time to listen. Later. Bye.